Many of you are venturing into making fountains for birds, whether it's hummingbirds or other birds flying around your yard, and we're using solar fountain kits now. They're so cheap, you can get them for as low as 10 and as much as 20. I buy mine from eBay online. I'll put some links down below. You can check them out and see if you like them. Just be sure, whoever you're buying them from, that they're in the United States so you get them in a few days. If they come from out of the country, it could take months. There are so many fun projects we can do with this, with items around our house. We can upcycle, recycle, and make the cutest fountains that the birds love. I've even used a soda bottle and a trash can. Or you can use a tray from food, like a food tray. There are so many things we can do. But what I want to do today is just show you the different fountains, because there are a couple different types, and we're going to go step by step. So this way you'll be familiar with the type of solar fountain kit you're getting and think about the project you want to do so you get the right one. So let's do an unboxing of the solar fountain kit. Now this is the one with the long cord. I love the long cord because you can move this around. You can have your fountain sitting in the shade, but the cord with this solar panel will be in the sun. Now that's the instructions. I'm going to tell you, I have never used the instructions, but you can look through it. It's never been useful for me. I just usually compost it. Now it comes with a lot of different attachments. We'll get into that in a second because they're all different. Now see the cord here? That cord is very long. They're all a little bit different. This one had a little bit of like styrofoam sheeting just to protect the panel. Some have a plastic film on it. If it says remove the plastic film. This one didn't have it. Now this is the motor, and you will see, depending on which type you buy, they could be slightly different, but they're all generally the same. This one has a filter on it, and I'll tell you, the filter doesn't really do much anyways. You can pop it apart and clean it when it gets dirty. So don't worry if yours has a filter or doesn't. Now let's look inside what this one comes with, because they do come with different little doodads with them. This one has 3 caps. Now the caps have holes in them, so it's a spray. I never use this, but the spray will be a little bit different. So one will spray up, one will spray more sideways. You know, it's a little bit different. You would test it out and you'd snap it on the top of that little triangular shaped round unit there. And then this is more of a lift. This goes on the pump itself. And then from there you would attach that part, and then you would put your spray on if you want. I never use it, but just letting you know it is there in case you wanted to put it in a fountain and just have a spray on it. You would snap it on. It snaps on really good. I'm not going to snap it on right now because you got to pry it off. This is another little top. It's also a sprayer. It will spray straight up and it goes quite high. Hummingbirds don't like it. Other birds might not mind it. It's got holes in it. So it's just a different type of sprayer. I generally don't use any of those parts, but they're there. Some will have more parts. Like I said, every kit is a little bit different. So now you're a little bit familiar what comes in the box. It's very simple, and you will use the parts that you need, because the most important part is that panel, that cord, and that pump, and the connector that brings the water out, that long piece. So we're going to do a box opening on the solar fountain pump that floats. This is the floating one. There's no long cord. So now the first thing you're going to do, of course, is open the box and see what's inside. They can vary in size. They can vary in the amount of little doodads and sprayers that come with it, but they're all basically the same. Nothing else is in the box. That's it. Now this is all that's coming with it. And notice there's no cord. Well, there is a cord. Look at that. 2 to 3 inches long. That is your cord. That pump is attached to the bottom of the solar panel. That is the solar panel. We'll get more into that in a few minutes. So now you know what this part looks like. Now this is the manual that comes with it. I have never had any use for that. So you do what you want with it, but for me, it's going back in the box. I don't need it. It doesn't say much that's going to help me set this up even. Now, as you can see here, that is the solar panel and that is your pump. Now, this pump comes off. It's attached to the floating unit, and we'll get into that. Now, I'm going to show you something so you'll be able to know that if it gets dirty, feathers get in there, leaves, just any debris. This is how easy it is to clean any of them, whether it's floating or the separate unit, the one with the cord. See the propeller there? That comes out. You carefully take it out. You may need a tweezers when it's been set up for a while because hard water gets in there and dirt and things. But you take that out and you clean it really good. You gently put it back, do not lose it, and then snap on the cover. And you'll see how the cover goes. It usually only goes one way, and when you'll snap that on. That's the cover to the propeller and the motor, and then this is just the outside cover. Some come with a filter, some don't. It doesn't matter. I'm always cleaning them, once, maybe every 6 months. And then you snap the whole thing back, and that's it. That has to work on the panel. There's no other way to run this solar fountain kit. Now that's foam. These generally, for me, only last about a year. Where the ones with the panel, I've got some running that are over 3 and 4 years old. Now, as you can see here, it looks a little shiny. There's no tag on this one telling me to remove anything. Usually it says remove, but I can see there's plastic because I saw the air bubbles, so I'm taking it off. Check yours over carefully because not all of them come with that, but if you leave that plastic on in the hot sun outside, it can melt onto your solar panel and then it won't work anymore. So if it's there, take it off before you use it. Now let's go over the little doodads that come with it, and what they are is they're sprayers. And you just try them out if you're going to use them. See which one you like. Some spray up, some spray sideways. It's a different formation for water, and it's whatever you want to use. And that's the top. That's more like a bubbler, but what happens is you're going to snap these on. Sometimes they snap on straight. Sometimes you got to twist them on. So check your model. They're all a little bit different. But that's it. This one came with 4. Sometimes they come with 3, sometimes they come with more. Just make sure the sprayer you're using won't drain all the water out of your bowl. Now the long plastic piece, that is the lift, and that's where you're going to attach these sprayers. See how it brings it up a little bit? Now you could run it just like that, and sometimes the hummingbirds will come to it because they like it bubbling out. That one has like a straight spray. It's going to shoot, who knows, 2-3 feet in the air. And if you had a small bird bath out there and you were going to have it floating, you may end up emptying your bird bath. So keep that in mind. And that one has a little cap with a couple of holes. So again, it sprays fine up into the air. But now you're familiar with what the round one looks like. Now what you have to understand here is look around the edge. That 1.5 inch, see that? You'll see little lines. That is your solar panel. That has to be in direct sunlight. So you have to make sure wherever you set this up, it has full sun or it may not work. Sometimes it'll work with a little bit of shade, but not always. So that is your whole panel, your pump, all in one unit with that little short cord. So you don't have the ability to put this in the shade like you do with the one with the long cord. And all you do is sit it in a bowl, fill the bowl with water, and put whatever attachment on, or if you're going to do a project, you do your project. But this sits in a bowl in full sun. If it gets a little shade on it from a tree or something, it will stop working. But it's really cute the way it floats, and that's your panel. Remember, that all the way around is your solar panel. Periodically, wipe it down, keep it clean. You may have it last for more than a year, but it will depend on your water. We have really hard water, so ours break down within a year. So now you know all about the solar fountain kits, whether you want one with a long cord, a stand, a round one. That will depend on your projects. Now you can buy things like a ball and you can change it over into a solar fountain. I made this cement ball and it's real easy. I've got all these in the playlist on how I made every single one here for the hummingbirds. All these different solar fountains that are all over my gardens, and maybe that's why we've got so many hummingbirds, thousands, because they love the baths. This is just a bowl. It's a children's bowl. And they love it. But the point is, you can sit back and decide, like a puzzle, how you want to make it. Whether it's just a bowl like this and some rocks with a little tube and a cup turned upside down, or a fancy cement project that has hummingbirds and designs embedded in it. There are so many different things you can do with these fountains, and they look so attractive, and they last for years. Make them out of cement, they're practically forever, unless you drop them. Cups. You can go to the dollar stores and buy a plastic cup. And let me tell you something, that has been one of the favorites of the hummingbirds. They can sit on top and splash away, and they absolutely love it. You didn't even need to buy any tubing with this. I used a straw that came with it. The point is, get creative, think about it, take some of my designs, tweak it to the way it's going to work for you. This is an old watering can I had that was like 40 years old that is splashing on a coffee jar, a plastic one. Look at this hummingbird having a blast. There's nothing with the coffee jar underneath. It's full of rocks. It's holding it up and it's splashing on the top, and they love that light splash. You can do all kinds of things, and I hope I've given you some ideas. But the main thing I wanted to go over today was the fountains, because they do vary, and sometimes somebody says it doesn't look exactly the same. It doesn't. They're all different. The point is, it's whatever company made them. They're going to be a little different, but it's all the same, and you can just make whatever you want. Look at this, made out of an ice cream container and a Hershey syrup jar. And this Oreo, wasn't sure what it was. It wasn't chocolate though, it was water, and they love it. They'll come inspect your new feeders, they'll look at it, because what do birds love more than anything? Water that is moving. When they hear water, it attracts the birds. Any moving water will always attract much more birds than a simple bowl just sitting there, because they can hear it from so far. And yes, I made that ice cream. That was made out of a glue gun. Yes, just from a glue gun. Got that video too. This has been a blast, and the birds love it. So go ahead, think about how you want to make one. Look around your house, see what you've got. And there's so many different ways of putting this together. Hope I gave you some tips and tricks and ideas. And with that, have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. And please like and subscribe. And I've got a whole lot more coming soon too. And that's right, that is nothing more than some rocks and a bowl, and then just the original fountain kit. And that little wren tit, he is not letting anybody use his bowl.